alcoholic and non-alcoholic, plus all the household must-have. We've got it all under one roof. We're right here in Jimmy Dominica, and yet we deliver. Whether you're running a supermarket, a corner shop, a bar, or just like your pantry full and happy, Fine Foods Inc. brings you the best brands you know and love. Great prices, top-tier service, trusted products. At 255-6810 or 316-0164, or drop by our Jimmy location to check out what's in store. Fine Foods Inc.
Fine Foods Inc. The biggest distributor for the biggest brand.
Ready. Automotive Alliance presents the ultimate weekend showdown. Light 'em up. All rocks are taking over Kingsville Airport this April 4th and 5th. Saturday, it's Test and Tune. Dial it in. Sunday, it's time to go heads up quarter-mile racing, the car show, and the Sound Out Championship. Bring the whole family for the Kids Zone, music, food, and the loudest two-step competition on the island. Admission, adults $20, kids $10. Want to be in the heat of the action? Grab a pit pass for $50 daily. Registration $100, car show entries of $50. Media partner, Kyrie FM, U95 FM, The Vibes Radio. Line them up, April 4th and 5th at the Kingsville Airport. Be there or get left at the line.
Ooh, oh, KFC. Ooh, oh, KFC. Looking for some place to go. Emails for so. KFC. Grab your family and your friends. Join in the experience. KFC. It's the place to be. Made for you and me. KFC. KFC. It's sure looking good.
So let's say good afternoon to Mr. Heston Charles, coordinating the is it Shana?
Shana is the
Shana.
Greek, it's a Greek word for change.
So big, the 6th edition is coming up. Shana,
Yes.
and Heston Charles is here. Preacher Heston Charles is here to talk to us about it for the next few minutes, and we'll be joined sometime later.
Yeah, I'll be joined by Evangelist Wicks and Pastor Vaughn Vigilant. These are the main.
Where's Pastor Von Vigilant from?
It's from Cassibus.
Cassibros. I think I may have seen him, you know.
He was in Newton for a crusade a few weeks ago.
But let's hit the ball running there. Heston, what is going on? Tell us.
Let me say good afternoon to you and your listeners. I guaranteed, myself that once I on Matt, people will hear and people will know what's happening.
Of course.
So I have no doubt in my mind of the reach, and I give you kudos for that. Matt.
Thank you.
You have a reach that is impeccable, that is unbelievable, and certainly I know that many persons are listening as I speak. It's that time again,
Yeah.
It's that time again for Shana. This is the 6th edition, and this year the theme is Bring It All for Jesus to Fix in 2026.
Bring it all for Jesus.
Bring it all for Jesus to fix in 2026. We're
right.
hoping to be joined by our ministers of the gospel. We have
Pastor Vigilant.
Pastor Vigilant, and also we have Evangelist Wicks,
Uh-huh.
who should be joining us on virtually, as they are the main speakers of this event, and it gives us great pleasure. Pastor Vigilant have been with us, and this is year number 6 since we started this initiative. Pastor Vigilant has been there, and we are happy to have him. Permit me to mention, Matt, one of the biggest deterrent that we have in people coming to God or people accepting the privilege to go to church is because people think they're too bad.
They're too bad.
Yeah, they think they're too bad. They think that's not a place for them.
Nothing's
Yeah, people stay away from church because they're checking.
that's for me.
That's not for me. And one of the reasons for that, society puts stigma on people when they have a tarnished character.
Okay.
When there's a stain in the character, society has a way of putting a stigma on people, and that makes people stay away
Okay.
from church, they stay away from accepting the gospel, they shy away from praying, and some of them think they're doomed for hell.
What about those? I'll change that theme around for you, just to have you thinking. Don't you think sometimes the people in the church believe that they're better than others?
Sometimes they do behave like that, which is wrong.
Socially,
Because
antisocial.
the highest among us, Jesus Christ, came down.
Right.
So who am I? The man without sin. And the Bible says, all have sinned and come short of the glory.
Uh-huh.
So we are in no place to condemn or look down on anybody who have fallen short of the glory of God. And I'm a firm believer that the gospel is for everybody. I'm a firm believer that every single human being is a candidate for the kingdom of God. I'm a firm believer in that. You could be a criminal, you can be a notorious character, doesn't matter who you are. If you read your Bible carefully, the worst people in life, one of the biggest evangelists was an adulterer, a woman. She was one of the biggest evangelists. Jesus met her, and he met her when some men came to accuse her of committing adultery.
Right.
And right there and then he tell them, well, if one of all you there is without sin,
Cast the first stone.
cast the first stone. So we should not be casting stones. And I believe those of us who are ambassadors of the gospel, those of us who are custodians of the gospel, we do a bad job. We make a mess, for want of a better expression, in terms of how we approach the gospel. We make people
Not all.
not all, but some of us, we make a mess.
Right.
We make people think that they have to fix themselves to come to Jesus. Nobody, the scripture is clear. A leopard is not able to change its spots. You cannot change yourself. You are not able to fix your mess. You have to bring your mess and come with your mess so that Jesus can fix your mess. So this initiative is for all, especially people who refrain from going to church, especially the people the street people, the people who say they'll stay at their home. We have someone on. They'll stay at the home and prefer to stay at the home rather than going to congregate. So we have people who turn to all other things that don't help them when they have issues. They turn to drugs, they turn to alcohol. Some end up, Matt, you see that they end up being depressed because they have an issue that all they have to do is call on the Maker, call on Jesus, and Jesus will answer you. You don't have to come and try to fix yourself to go to the Master in prayer. If you go to the Master in prayer, you confess your sins, the Master will hear your cry. The songwriter says, hear my cry, O Lord, and attend unto my plea from the ends of the earth. When I cry unto you, when my heart is overwhelmed, lead me to the rock. That is higher than I.
And we have another pastor joining us, evangelist.
Yes. We have Brother Wicks. Brother Wicks is on fire. I mean, he's like a steamboat
And he looks like Moses.
Yes, you
Taking the
know,
promised land.
you ever seen a plane, Matt, getting ready to fly?
Yes.
It pours up. That's how Brother Weeks is get ready for this initiative come this Friday evening at the PSU.
Brother Wicks, how you doing?
I'm very well, Matt. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to Brother Charles. Good afternoon to your listeners here in the diaspora community. I'm happy to be alive in the land of the living. Thank God for His grace and His mercies. Matt, how are you today?
Well, I'm trying my very best. Now that you're on, we're a little happier that you're able to join us.
Well, thank God for technology. And also I had to put myself to get my wife to assist me. So, so that's where the marriage becomes a team, Matt. And I'm sure you're on your way in that direction pretty soon, aren't you?
Yeah, sure. But last year, Brother Wicks, I came looking for you, but you were not present.
Yes, well, as some would have told you, there was the nagging flu, and I became a victim, and the voice was rusty. And when I'm executing, I like to execute flawlessly and seamlessly.
Okay, so what can we expect this time around?
Well, by God's grace, we look forward to all our pastors and evangelists, and we expect the Hilltop Singers. We expect Brother Val and his team, and so many others to bring hope and God's love to our people here in Dominica. In fact, we expect it to be carried live, so it will go further via the boundaries of Dominica, outside Dominica. But all in all, Matt, there's so many things happening around the world today. The world, the jurisdictions are becoming a lot more decadent. The moral fiber of the society is whittling away. We see the particular trajectory of our youngsters, the road that they're taking. We see a kind of hopelessness. There's not too much of a great regard, a passionate regard for the Lord, to be honest. So, I'm on the ground, I'm moving around the ground, around the speakeasies. I'm one of those who follow the Great Commission very closely. That is to go out and minister and speak the word, and not only among believers, but unbelievers or people who do not have that passion for Christ. And that is why we are going out, and come the next couple of days on Friday, we will all converge at the PSU, where we expect a number of people, a large throng of people, so that we can bring hope and bring manifestation of God's word in a big way, so that lives can be changed. And when I say change, for it to be sustained. Because you see, as I tell you, in this kind of turbulent world that we live in, you look at your television sets, the wars are on, not war. The wars are on. Only this morning I heard you talk about a rise in petrol products. So that just tells you we've got to tie our waist. But there is hope. There's no lack in God's treasury. And indeed, there's hope. So if we as a people, we as a nation, were to put our trust in God, believe in God, be faithful to God, be obedient to God, and allow Him to take control of our hearts, body, mind, spirit, and soul, I have no doubt, by God's grace, we will survive.
Well, I'm happy you're speaking to the scene there. In other words, bring it all to Jesus. He'll take care of you, right? That's
absolutely.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Absolutely. He said that He'll never leave us nor forsake us. Matt, it's a long time. I've been following Christ. I got arrested by Christ. Many of you know my story. I've said it on your program on more than one occasion, on different programs. And really and truly, there's nothing out there in the world that can sustain us as human beings but the Lord Jesus Christ. Period. A nation is not going to survive, but people are not going to survive given what is to come. This is just early birth pangs, if you like, of birth pains. And as such, if we're not girded with the word of God, girded by prayer, the will of God, the power of God, it's going to be a hopeless situation But today is the day of salvation. Now, today, right now. And we make that impassioned plea for people to get closer to God. And Dominica, particularly, in my view, God has always been good to Dominica. And I believe strongly that God wants to do something mightily in this land. But I think, too, that we are taking his grace and taking him for granted. Look at several of the natural phenomena that we had over the years. And look at how we've bounced back. I mean, you look at the vegetation, you look at the mountains. There was a time it was only bones. The trees were emptied. The economy was shaken. All the global pressure, that we face as a people. So we want our people to get closer to God. We want that divisiveness. It's only this morning when I listened to a clip on the radio station, I heard a politician asking for unity in my parish, in my community. And that's what we really want in Dominica, for all of us to be unified and to stop or arrest or curb this divisiveness and hatred and anger. While people fight each other, even for trivial things, you know. And I want to sound quickly, Matt. It's not about denomination. In fact, it's multi-denomination.
Who should come? Who should come
Right.
to this big?
Everybody, it is open, Matt, for everyone. From the highest man to the lowest man, highest woman to the lowest woman, no matter how you are, no matter whether you are stained, no matter whether you are hopeless, no matter whether you are a sinner, no matter whether you are soldier of the cross, we're inviting everybody to come. There are those who are hurting. There are those who may be demon possessed. There are those who have economic, domestic problems. I mean, a plethora of issues and difficulties. But come, Jesus can fix it. Jesus is more than able, hallelujah, to fix it, brother Matt.
All right, I'm going to take a quick song, of course, speaking to your theme, and we'll come back to talk to you. Stick around.
Yeah.
Sometimes I fall to my knees and pray. Come, Jesus, come. Let today be the day. Sometimes I feel like I'm afraid, but I'm holding on to hope that come, Jesus, come. We've been waiting so long for the day you return to heal every hurt and right every wrong. We need you now. Come and turn this around. Deep down, I know this world isn't home. Come, Jesus, come.
Dominica, it's that time again. Non-stop Places presents Shana, the 6th edition, under the theme Bring It On for Jesus to Fix in 2026. Join us for a powerful night of praise, worship, and the preached word of God, featuring guest speakers Pastor Iroy Hamilton, Pastor Bon Vigilant, and Evangelist Claude Wicks. Be blessed through special music ministry by Ready to Say, Hilltop Singers, Fishers of Men, and more. Friday, April 3rd, 7 p.m. at the Dominica Public Service Union Building on Valley Road. Come expecting your miracle, your breakthrough, deliverance, and victory. This is a night you don't want to miss. For more information, call 616-4229.
My hands in victory.
You have problems of hurt. Give them all to Jesus.
Are you tired of chasing pretty rainbows? Are you tired of spinning
Run, run, right up all the shattered dreams. You're the
Of course, I see Mr.
and at the feet of Jesus.
Heston Charles immersed in the music at this time.
Yes, yes, yes.
Looking forward to Friday night, huh?
Looking forward. Matt, you know, it's 22 years now since the ministry began, since it was concepted. May will give it 22 years, May Day. And I have seen the hands of God, I have seen God work. And that is why I always say to believers, there is great danger in judging people. When you judge people, you bring in judgment on yourself. When you condemn people, you're bringing condemnation on yourself. And this is one of the reasons why many churches are empty and many gospel activities are not attended. It's not because of the people that have to attend it. Those of us, the custodians of the gospel, we have failed in how we present the gospel to people. We make people think that they have to fix themselves to come to God. Bro, you're not supposed to fix yourself to come to God. You have to come to God for God to fix. It's like, so you bring your car for a mechanic, Matt. You're gonna try to fix it first. You bring. So what? So the mechanic will not have. You understand what I'm saying? So, and that is so crucial. What I'm saying here, because I've come to recognize that the gospel is about Jesus helping you. It's about Jesus fixing you. It's about you having an issue and you bring it for Jesus to fix. And so, don't you ever dare think that your issue is unable, or Jesus is unable for Jesus to fix. That you're so written off, that you're so badly off, that you are unfixable. There is a what they call a write-off that insurance use. That when a vehicle is of it's not roadworthy.
Roadworthy, yes.
It's not road. Don't you dare ever entertain that thought that you are not earthworthy or you're not worthy to be among people. And society. And Matt, you would know from your experience. I mean, especially with the kind of way society is, where when you do something bad, it goes viral.
Chastise you very, very quickly.
You feel like you want the earth to open and swallow you because you have made a mistake. It on Matt, it on the hot seat, it on Talk on the Block, it on Facebook, and everybody have it going. And next thing you want to hide. Not even the church you want to go. But it's people like that Jesus wants. People that are hiding because, of a stain in their character. People that are hiding because they feel they're not fit enough to go to church. They're not fit enough to even call on the name of Jesus. There are people who think that they're in hell already.
Oh yes. But let me just wrap it up with Pastor Wicks, the evangelist. Are you an evangelist or you a pastor? I just need to ask you that question.
Evangelist. There's a slight dichotomy with respect to a pastor and evangelist. I put it as simple as that. An evangelist is almost like a hitman. And I'm serious about it. You go all over the world, all over your country, and spread the gospel. That's what it is. And you do so unashamedly, you do so boldly, you do so with serious venom. So that, because an evangelist, as a pastor, has a passion for souls. You don't want to see your brother man or your sister go down the drain, go down the line, go down the path of eternal damnation. So it's that hunger and passion, and that's exactly what happened to me many years ago. Having found the Lord, and Heston is right. The simple
thing. You have not regretted going down that path, huh?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. In fact, moi tapes autant coup pour aller par ça. The amount of blows that I've gotten, and I must make the point, even those who are hearing us now who are going to come, when you come, and Heston is really correct, people have been badly evangelized. People have been badly, in my view, badly taught about the word of God. You understand? We preach a prosperity gospel, That's what we tell people.
And I
So when
know
you get
there,
to
and
God,
I'm looking at Facebook. There are people saying, "Well, why should these pastors come on this radio? Why didn't they go? Why don't they go to Voice of Life? We accept anybody on this radio station."
here we
So
go.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know,
Yes. Well, I mean, they don't do it.
you will be chastised because maybe some of them don't believe in God too.
Well, that's fine. Our duty by the power of the Holy Spirit is to ensure that the word of God gets across. Now, even if that statement is being made, that the people have preempted us, you expect to be oppressed, you expect to be marginalized, you expect to be killed, you expect to be demoted, because who? The Master himself went through it. In fact, as we are in Holy Week, that's what it is all about. And what a good week to concentrate and reflect and see where our position are as a people, as a nation, as Christians, and even those who do not believe or who are backslidden, but to bring them back to the fold. So it's not about judging or that self-righteousness. All of us have fallen short. All of us have fallen short, but the redeeming, restorative grace of the Lord Jesus Christ is so ever present to help us and to allow us on the even keel, Brother Matt.
All right, John. Well, so we have to wrap it up because we have a next guest coming in at this time. So we want to give you your final words. And
Yes. Well, Matt, my final words. You notice I am a bit subdued. I'm allowing the ministers to speak.
The big man.
Yeah, let the big man speak. So I'm a bit subdued. Usually I come here and
Yes.
I'm all fired up.
Fire, yeah.
But I understand when to decrease. I have to decrease. Let evangelist weeks increase.
You have to be humble.
I have to be humble, and so come Friday evening. Now is my time to speak. Come Friday evening. If you're planning to die, postpone your funeral.
Postpone your death first.
Because the place to be is at PSU. Make it your date. Don't be late.
What time?
We start bang on time, 7 o'clock, with wonderful worship done by Brother Renick Tousse from the community of Cooley Street. He is a very gifted singer. He was part of the NIPP concert.
Yeah.
He secured the championship. He secured the title a year ago. He was our winner, and we are happy to have him to lead out in the worship. We have the Hilltop Singers. We have the Fishers of Men. I guarantee that this event will really change lives. It will bring peace. It will bring comfort. It will put people in a better place than they used to be. And it's for everybody. It's for everyone. Whether you're Rasta, whether you Anglican, whether you...
Doesn't matter your denomination.
It doesn't matter.
Come.
It's non-denominational. It's for you. It's for me. And the place to be is at PSU, 7 o'clock. Bring it all for Jesus to fix.
All right, let's see our final word from Brother Claude Wicks. Final word.
Yes, simply in a few seconds, Matt, is just to tell the people, come as you are. Come with your heart open. Come with a great expectation to be healed, to be delivered, to be restored, to be restituted. Come and feel the power of God, God willing, on Friday.
All right, thank you. We're going to end with this one. All right, Colin Davis, This Island Needs Jesus. Thank you very much.
God bless.
With the Ministry of Agriculture. But before that, we have another interesting stuff, huh? This is the Talk on the Block. Thank you.
Dominica, it's that time again. Non-Stop Places presents Shana, the 6th edition, under the theme, Bring It On for Jesus to Fix in 2026. Join us for a powerful night of praise, worship, and the preached word of God, featuring guest speakers Pastor Iroy Hamilton, Pastor Bon Vigilant, and Evangelist Claude Wicks. Be blessed through special music ministry by Renick Tousse, Hilltop Singers, Fishers of Men, and more. Friday, April 3rd, 7 p.m. at the Dominica Public Service Union Building on Valley Road. Come expecting your miracle, your breakthrough, deliverance, and victory. This is a night you don't want to miss. For more information, call 616-4229.
All right, Dominica, before we move on to the Ministry of Agriculture, you know they've been talking about a serious disease spreading the Woodfordale, Wesley area. They're here to remind us what is going on. But before we get there, I want to talk to Mr. Jerry Brisbane. He was up at the Dearborn site on the weekend, which attracted a number of persons speaking and standing for Dearborn. But Mr. Brisbane, I heard you making a special appeal and call. But I want to start off with this. We have 5 minutes. Let me just play this and ask him about the challenge they made Mr. Capitol a couple days ago. Here's Mr. Jerry Brisbane's challenge.
If we can prove to him, well, and I guess the leadership, that the rock at Crapo Hall is better than the rock at than Debash, then he will come. He'll join our group, and he'll take out the shoes, which I invited him to come here today. Take out your shoes, come here, come and ground yourself, and so on. So the challenge or the thing for Mr. Capitole is, Mr. Capitole, I'm sure you'll listen. If not, you will see this. I am saying to you that if you can prove to me that the cost of taking out all this material here, excavation work, the whole works, transporting all this overload material and everything and taking it out to Londonderry is cheaper, and then obviously all the effects with the environment and people's lives is less cost than taking it from Collio to bring it to the airport. I am going to say to you, Mr. Capitole, I won't come barefoot and join you all. I will come tutu-knee, if you know what that is. I will take out all my clothes, Mr. Capitole, and I will come naked and I will join you all at the international airport. Have a blessed.
All right, what a challenge there, Mr. Brisbane. What's the latest on the watch as we speak? You're laughing.
Man, boy, you know, I did all that one especially for you. I know you like row so much. I knew that one was a sweet new man, you know.
It's gone all over the world.
It's right all over the world. Well, you know, I'm happy. I'm happy for the opportunity this afternoon to just give a bit of an update, because I mean, you know, you sometimes have to make light of stuff, because other than that we go crazy. So, you know, we had a really good day on Saturday. It was a nice gathering. Usual, you know, the spirit is really, really beautiful, man. And hopefully one of these days you get the time to come up. In fact, this Saturday coming, we are gathering again, but this time you have no excuse. So it's from 2 to 5. So you can't say that you're going to be on the radio.
Well, I was on my way, you know, and you guys postponed.
All right, man. Okay, but this time you have no excuse. So hopefully you'll be there. But yeah, I mean, the point I was making with this thing with Mr. Capitol, and making, you know, obviously just kind of lightening up things, is that, you know, the information that has been presented and is going to be presented, the stuff that is going to be, submissions that are going to be made to the planning division today. In fact, today is the last. And we are just finishing up all, you know, the crossing the I's, dotting the T's as much as we can, because there's just so much information. It's, you know, so overwhelming in terms of the evidence that stacks up against K-Bosh as being a mine, you know, a mine for rock, a mine for whatever. And, you know, the information that one of the engineers has provided or is going to be submitting is the cost of moving the material from Dewash. And apparently, in their application form, they're saying that the site for disposal is going to be the Londonderry disposal area. Have you been there, Matt, recently in that area to see what has gone on?
You mean in the West Woodford area or just
No,
Dearborn?
in the Londonderry area. The flat on the Londonderry where they have disposed most of their waste and so on.
I haven't been in recent time. I was going there.
I think it's Cabana
Okay.
area. Yeah. So actually, Mark, that area now is about 40 feet high in with stuff, and based on the projections and their numbers, the waste material is going to be 600,000 cubic meters. And that equates to about equates to about 11,000 trucks. In total, it's 1 million cubic meters of stuff, but that includes 400,000 meters or cubic meters of stone they anticipate to get. And I mean, here's the thing: you're trying to get 400,000 cubic meters of stone, but you are having now to unearth and move 600 cubic meters of waste and soil. That's 50% more than what you intend to harvest. I mean, Matt, it's just unbelievable. In any quarry, you go out, any of the guys in call you anywhere, and they'll tell you if they were to go to do any quarry, they wouldn't even start, in fact. Fathers even think about it, So, the situation is such that the cost of doing that is going to be so phenomenal that I don't understand how it even makes sense to even consider Dewash. And that's just one of the things, yes. Because, Matt, they're going to actually add in the estimations and the submissions 70 feet more of disposable waste to that site in London. And I'm sure you have some feel of what 70 feet is like. Most of the telephone poles in Roseau are about 35 feet, 40 feet is that. So like double that height on 7 acres of land. So just that alone and the challenge of all these, moving all these loads and the cost, is so phenomenal that I really don't see.
But Jerry, you were given a challenge, Mr. Capitolaire, last week, and I'm hoping that you might be able to answer some of the questions. I know Gary and your daughter will be back tomorrow as it relates to the quality of the rock with Dearborn versus Crapo Hall. We need some answers on that tomorrow. I'm hoping this team would come with some of these answers specifically because we have to wrap up now to move to the next.
Yes? Well, Matt, tomorrow they'll be there to specifically talk about the submissions to the plan division, but they can talk about anything else. But they will go over all the main submissions that have been made, to planning. And so people, again, will have knowledge and information and, again, have the power in their hands to make the decisions that,
But do you know if any decision has been taken as it relates to planning referring to Dearborn? Any decision? Final
Not at this time. Not at this time. None of the stop orders or anything have been lifted. No approvals have been given. We understand that there was this nod by the technical committee to allow them to continue to mount the crusher. But again, we've asked for that document and we have not received it.
But I heard Mr. Clarence speaking to he first said May, now he said March. So what is the real story here?
Mr. Who, sorry?
Mr. Clarence Christian, who's closely associated with the project.
Oh, well, Matt, again, I think I had mentioned that when I did call him, when I think he had talked. And basically, I mean, a lot of what Mr. Christian has said, unfortunately, has been incorrect, and so we will leave it at that. And then Janelle and Gary will tomorrow, talk to anything that's the point. We are so open to any question, anything. If we can't back it up with facts, then we will see that.
All right. Well, Jerry, again, thank you for joining us this afternoon. We have to make a stop right now. The Ministry of Agriculture is with us talking about something serious taking place in Woodfordale, Wesley, in the same area. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Bang on time. 2:00. It's a packed program, huh? We're happy to have the Ministry of Agriculture and actually a technical officer in the Ministry of Agriculture shared some very important information. I may want to speak to the lady about. We'll see. We'll get some of the answers, but she's here for a different mission to speak about some of the fights they're taking it on at this time with the disease, the coconut disease. Huh? What's the name of it again?
Lethal yellowing disease.
Lethal. You just put your tongue between your teeth.
Lethal.
It's not as jovial as you think. It's a very serious disease affecting coconut plants, coconut trees, and the coconut you enjoy on a day-to-day basis. It's a big source of potassium. Huh? So you can't take this lightly. So let's say good afternoon to you. You could just introduce yourself so the whole world can know who you are. You're on Facebook as well, huh?
Thank you. Good afternoon, Matt.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for having me again.
No problem. Well, you're welcome. We're here to educate the public. We're also,
Lovely. We have to come many times because we need everyone to hear.
Okay.
And good afternoon to the listening public. I hope today more persons are locked in and will hear more about the disease.
Yes.
So my name is Linessa Ferrara.
Linessa, are you family from the St. Joseph area?
That's where I live. I am married into the Ferraras.
Oh, okay. So you export and import yourself into Ferraras.
Yes, I was imported into St. Joseph.
All right. Good afternoon to the Ferrara family. Yeah.
Yes. So I am from the Plant Protection and Quarantine Department.
But your family background is farming, though.
Yes. So okay. I actually came from Concord.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's a very deboche. Okay. It's my river.
All right.
And yes, I'm from Concord. I grew up in the farming family.
Okay.
I did a lot of hard work in my youth.
Uh-huh.
So now I've moved to St. Joseph, and I'm still helping in the agriculture department.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yes.
In St. Joseph. I'm happy you're here.
Thank you.
So tell us about this lethal, disease that is spreading around. Okay. What's the latest information that you have?
So I want to share everything again because there may be persons who may not have heard the last time and give you an update. So as we mentioned before, the name of the disease is lethal yellowing disease, and its very name states what it does in that it kills the coconut tree. Mm-hmm. It's very deadly. And therefore, we would like persons to assist us with it not spreading out of where it is. So what it is a phytoplasma. It's a microscopic organism within the plant called a phytoplasma. Basically something like a bacteria. Mm-hmm. Just as how it would make a human sick, a bacteria may make a human sick. That phytoplasma makes palms sick. Okay. Over 30 species of palms, a lot of which we have. So what it does is that it affects the plants being able to absorb nutrients, etc., or photosynthesize, and it kills the plant. Mm-hmm. It may take up to 7 months and not show any symptoms, but within 3 to
7 months?
Yeah, and not show any symptoms. And then within 3 to 6 months of starting to show symptoms, it dies within these 3 to 6 months. So there's a progression of symptoms, which I'll go on to speak about. Mm-hmm. So that disease is spread 2 ways. It can either be spread through the movement of planting material or through a vector. So there's a small leaf hopper, like 3 to 5 millimeters, very, very small, mm-hmm. my fingernail small, that you can find on the underside of these palm leaves. Underside of these palm leaves, that picks up that disease and can spread it from a tree that's infected to a tree that's not infected. So it can be spread that way, or the movement of planting material, as I mentioned before. So how persons can recognize the disease, mm-hmm. it expresses itself in stages. So the first thing you would see is the drop of the nuts, regardless of their age on the tree or size. So you would find immature nut drop, and sometimes it might be a nut that's not even mature or have water.
What about the seasoned nuts now?
The seasoned nuts fall too. And what you find is the blackening of the ring from where it detaches from the tree. So that's a symptom that you will actually see that is unusual. Because when a normal coconut falls from a tree, usually, first of all, it's mature and brown. And then you do not see this kind of wet discoloration at the neck. But with this disease, that's what you see of the nuts. Then you'd see even the youngest flowers die because the tree is dying, and so it cannot produce more fruit. So that dies. And then you'll see the gradual yellowing of the leaves, starting from the oldest to the youngest leaf, which we call the spear leaf. Then the whole crown of the tree falls, and then the tree becomes a telephone post. So it's a disease that is very serious. We have other diseases already on island. If you would see coconut trees before that disease came, you might find leaves looking yellow. You may see, blotching, discoloration, because there are already existing pests on coconut, but none of them, except one, would kill the tree. The tree would still survive, still produce nuts for you to drink. But this one now, it's coming to kill and destroy. And if we allow it to spread throughout the island, it can devastate our entire coconut industry.
There's a song I think from Signal Band. Where did you come from?
I know, right? Where did it come from? We knew about the disease a long time.
Okay.
Matter of fact, it has been in Jamaica since the 1800s. And it practically destroyed the industry, and then they built it back. It is throughout the Caribbean region, throughout the Americas. It is different places, Cayman Islands, it is Antigua, it is the Guadeloupe. It's throughout the region already. So we are one of the last countries to be getting it.
Why?
That's a good question. Why? How did it reach? What happened? And so that's why I'm here to tell persons what they can do not to allow it to spread further in Ireland, because it must have been either a plant material that was infected came in, or the vector.
All right, so I'm happy you're saying that, because I have information. I may be wrong. I have information to suggest that the ministry itself may have imported some plants from Jamaica a couple of months ago.
So Brazilian coconuts were brought in, and these coconuts were actually tested. The first set of samples that were sent out to determine whether the disease that we're now battling is what it is, they were sent to the University of Florida. And together with that, we took the initiative to send out samples from these nuts. They came back negative for the disease. So we can dispel the notion that they would have been the means by which it came to Dominica.
The plants that came from Jamaica was nil.
From Brazil, they were nil.
Nothing from Jamaica?
No, not from Jamaica. So they have not, we can do more testing of plants as it goes along, but so far we have no proof that that was what brought the disease. But where we are seeing the disease, it is concentrated in the northeast from palm tree to hodges. That's where we're seeing symptomatic trees. And the most symptomatic, where we call the epicenter of the disease,
the nerve,
is concentrated in Woodford Hill near the beachfront, on the beachfront. So we wonder whether the disease may have come from a neighboring French island. That's how it may have come. So that's where the disease, we call it the red zone right now, from palm tree.
But since you were here the last time, how many weeks ago? 3 weeks, 2 weeks ago you were here?
Maybe 2. Can't remember the exact
Have you
date.
discovered any other?
No. So far, we still, and this is the approach the ministry has taken. We took a decisive decision that we are not just going to destroy infected trees that we actually see the symptoms. Remember, I told you it can be in the tree up to 7 months and not show symptoms. So what we have done, we have demarcated the red zone, and we are destroying all palm trees from out coming into that epicenter. So right now we have
caught in all coconut trees.
All coconut trees. We have basically given ourselves a little buffer from visible symptomatic trees, and we are cutting all these trees on the all along the outskirts, going in from palm tree, hodges, coming into the epicenter. So far, we have cut over 50, 60 acres of
50 acres.
We started on government lands at Palm Tree, and we've also done beachfronts, because we know Easter is here, persons may want to start going on the beach, but we want to urge persons as much as possible. The less traffic it has in the red zone where there are coconut trees, the less likely you are to bring that vector back with you somewhere else that it's not, the disease is not yet. So we
So
would prefer.
how do you transfer? How do you carry this vector?
That's what a leaf hopper, it can easily just jump on your clothes, on your vehicle, on a bag you may bring on the beach, or if you went to a coconut field. Even the vendors who are picking up coconuts in these areas, we have urged them and we are meeting with them to discuss not collecting of nuts within that zone, because the vector, remember how small I told you it was?
Fingernail.
It can easily just hitchhike on anything. So it's us as a public to work together and not make the ministry is doing it part. We are cutting back the trees, we're doing our surveillance activities, we are looking at getting possible tolerant varieties for replacing the palms that are being cut. But the public has to help us with not spreading disease out of where it is. And that they can do by not moving planting material, not moving the vector, so less traffic in and out of that red zone is better for us. And also, a part of the life cycle of the vector can be found within grasses, such as the St. Augustine grass and some different grasses. So what we urge persons, do not move grass, do not move soil, do not move planting material, and as less traffic as least as possible in that red zone.
Well, you're talking about, and I think a farmer called about that. Is this survival? This is how they survive. So, what has been? How do you replace, the farmer who may be depending on this very plant?
This has not, we are taking that in consideration. It must be taken into consideration because the government recognizes this person's livelihoods we are speaking about. So there has been a plan in place, which is being developed to be implemented, that there will be support measures to farmers, including a compensation framework and including, as I was telling you, the sourcing of possible tolerant varieties to distribute back to farmers.
So, how does the compensation package work? I'm sure farmers will hear that.
Again, that is being developed. If you listen to the last press conference that we had, the minister gave this very speech. That's what he said. And so it is still being developed by them.
So how soon you think that will become a reality?
Hopefully very soon.
Very soon. So you've been interacting with the farmers in that area, the red zone?
Yes. So what we have been doing is it's a legal thing as well. We can't just go and cut down person's trees. So we've been issuing what we call notices to inform them of we're coming to destroy these trees, and that is a 7-day notice before we come. And we are also been getting support from various agencies to assist with this.
Let's take a phone call. Somebody wants to ask a question. Oh, sorry about that. The numbers are 449-3095, 449-3096, 449-3097. Let's take a phone call and encourage to call and ask any questions. Hello, yes.
Yeah, good afternoon, Matt.
Good afternoon to you, yes.
I just joined, but having a background in agriculture, I can identify with the issue in terms of invasive species that can affect both livestock and plants. And whereas it is identified that the coconut issue problem actually was identified on a beach, it is certainly suspicious that it may have been illegal entry. And so I think quite apart from dealing with the disease of the coconut now, I think there is need for some type of national education campaign in terms of people thinking that they can smuggle things through illegal ports and also through illegal ports, because there are people who hide things in their bags, in their suitcases, and they bring it in only to find that we have a problem. And most times you have these invasive species coming in, it always comes through humans. And so we are most times the biggest culprit in bringing in those sort of things. So let us ensure that both our laws on the books to protect us are implemented and followed strictly without any fear or favor or ill will, but apply to everybody in order that we protect what we have in Dominica, because the plants are very susceptible when they do get some foreign invasive species that comes, costs money to control, money to manage. And so it is better we just don't attempt to bring in those things. It will cost us cheaper and it will save us from even losing, or the possibility of actually losing certain type of crops.
So
So
it has the potential of, from what I gather, wiping out the industry, coconut industry.
Yes, and we know that attempts have been made to wipe out our coconut industry in the past. And there's something called biological warfare. And we have to just guard ourselves against all those things, because coconut is one of the crops that is a dynamic crop with multiple uses, and the health benefits of coconut is tremendous. And the use of the coconut plant itself in other applications is important to us. And the whole idea of the freshwater in coconut industry and the many confectionaries we can make as added value products in coconut, it is a very important commercial crop to us. And so let us all cooperate to contain the disease in this specific area where it has been quarantined, and let us not try to think that we against anybody and put resistance to what is best for us. Because if we lose the coconut industry, then we're going to lose something significant to us. Thank you.
Thank you very, 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 very much.
Say it better.
He couldn't say it better.
He could not say it better.
He has a.
I could not say it better.
He has a background in agriculture. Hello, talk to me on the telephone. Are you there? Yes.
Yes, Matt, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to you, yes.
And to your guest. And let me commend the young lady for being with you. Because really, as a people, we have to be civilized and we have to be informed and do things together. Because at the end of it, it is for all of us as a nation that we are doing it. And I heard you spoke, and you asked a question a while ago, and she answered in terms of how we source the new plants, because coconut take a long time to develop and to bear. And a number of persons are depending on coconut for a living. A number of people depend on coconut for a living. You see the vendors who sell coconut water, that's to make their living. And I think this thing in terms of the package and compensation has to be properly organized and coordinated, and with no favoritism. I heard the young guy who called a while ago talk about favoritism and so on. That you have to wipe it out from that. We have to ensure that everybody is dealt with on the same level, and we have to ensure that what we do in terms of assisting the farmers and with plant material and those things are well done. Now, I want to ask, in terms of the disease, is there anything in terms of treating the disease? Because you may cut down trees and you plant new plants and the disease is still there. Do we have any scientific situation where you can treat the disease? I remember as a boy growing up in the past, when you had those diseases in agriculture, you had treatment being applied. And I remember when we could not, as a country on our own, would have done it, we would collaborate with regional countries. We had WIND and all these places that we could get the support from to cure these things. And then when we had the black sickle toka, we had some very scientific suggestion that came from persons who knew the disease, who understood the disease, who had worked in this field for a long time. And those persons who offered the advice were brutally brushed aside by the authority. And I would hope that this is not the case in this situation there. That we take advice, receive them, and the advice is good to apply. And we can apply it without looking at where it comes from. Well, I was going to use the word, but where it comes from. Forget the messenger, in fact, but look at the message and whether the message could be applied to assist the situation, because coconut is a very important, industry. And if we are not careful, we can lose it. And when we lose it, for a long time, because it takes a while to develop and to bear. So again, I want to commend the young lady and to say that all effort must be made to work with the farmers, to work with them in a serious way, to assist them and to assist the industry without applying any favoritism in terms of what should be and what must be done. Thank you so much, Matt.
All right, thank you very much. We're going to take a break and we'll come back and stick around, Mrs. Ferraro. Stick around, okay? We're going to do this and come back. This is Q95. This is a talk on the block.
Dominica, it's that time again. Non-Stop Places presents Shana, the 6th edition, under the theme, Bring It On for Jesus to Fix in 2026. Join us for a powerful night of praise, worship, and the preached word of God, featuring guest speakers Pastor Iroy Hamilton, Pastor Bon Vigilant, and Evangelist Claude Wicks. Be blessed through special music ministry by Relic Tuse, Hilltop Singers, Fishers of Men, and more. Friday, April 3rd, 7 p.m. at the Dominica Public Service Union Building on Valley Road. Come expecting your miracle, your breakthrough, deliverance, and victory. This is a night you don't want to miss. For more information, call 616-4229.
This is the Saturday, April 4th. Wake up, let's party from Sunday and Shop. Get ready for it's breakfast vibes. All happening at Super Special in Sultan. Start your morning the right way with good music, good food, and even better energy. And all that DJ Fit the Boss, DJ Snow, DJ Fantastic, spinning all your favorite tunes. All the performance, real, and the movement champions TK Combo. And listen, come hungry, because on the menu we got subs, black pudding, vegan some fish, stew pops, drop stage, fish and chicken, hot water, fish water, and plenty more. Drinks, music, good vibes, guaranteed. And the best part, it's absolutely free. So grab your crew, bring your appetite, and start the Easter weekend the right way. Breakfast vibes is the Saturday from 7 a.m. sharp at Summer Special in Sultan. Don't miss Breakfast vibes, followed by Adams. Bring your brushes, Mr. Light, and Case Rental.
Different phases in life, we move at a different pace. All we need is to be supported. When the baby's coming, business needs revamping, the new job started, and you need an outfit. Let momentum hook you up. Momentum will hook you up. The wedding's planning, rent due date's coming. Momentum is your support financing. Let momentum hook you up. Momentum will hook you up.
Take advantage of NCCU's Momentum Loan and get the support you need for whatever stage you are in life. With a tiered interest rate and exclusive emergency fund component, let NCCU's Momentum hook you up. Call 255-2126. Email membercare@nccudominica.com or visit any NCCU location for more details. Your phase, your pace. Always bring forth. Wake up. Let's pop from get ready for it's Breakfast Vibes. All happening at Super Special in Sultan. Start your morning the right way with good music, good food, and even better energy. And all that DJ Fit the Boss, DJ Snow, DJ Fantastic, spinning all your favorite tunes. All the performance, real, and the movement champions TK Combo. And listen, come hungry, because on the menu we got subs, black pudding, vegan some fish, stew pops, drop stage, fish and chicken, hot water, fish water, and plenty more. Drinks, music, good vibes, guaranteed. And the best part, it's absolutely free. So grab your crew, bring your appetite, and start the Easter weekend the right way. Breakfast vibes is the Saturday from 7 a.m. sharp at Summer Special in Sultan. Don't miss Breakfast vibes, followed by Adams. Bring your brushes, Mr. Light, and Case Rental.
Yeah, the telephones are going, so there are a lot of questions out there.
Yeah, so I want to address the last caller's concerns.
As it relates to...
So first, he was mentioning that we need to take in the compensation plan seriously. And I want to assure the public that we are. And matter of fact, one of the things we are doing before cutting any trees on a person's property, we shall be taking account of all trees cut, at what age they were cut, and if any other trees are damaged during destruction, that will also be taken into consideration. So it's been taken into consideration. It's not just something trivial. As well as in terms of the treatment of the trees. There is a treatment. It's called oxytetracycline. It's actually an antibiotic that is even used in humans, humans and animals at a different concentration, but it's the same antibiotic. So we have to be careful with its use in terms of whether exposure to it could result in antimicrobial resistance. So we have to, it's something if used has to be controlled, but it is an option. But what it does, it has to be injected into the tree like every 3 months for
Mhm.
a long period of time. And it simply slows down the progression of the disease. It doesn't cure the disease. And
It can be cured.
it cannot be used in palms that you consume the fruit. So it cannot be used in coconuts, or else you basically will be consuming the antibiotic because it's in the system of the plant. So you cannot do that, but we can use it in ornamental palms. It's an option that is being considered by the ministry. And then in terms of collaboration, he mentioned we are collaborating with multiple agencies, local, international, regional,
Mhm.
including FAO, ECA, CARDI, forestry. Locally is helping us tremendously because they are the ones mainly cutting the trees. Who have I not mentioned extension? We have a lot of collaborators assisting us with this management.
Mhm. What about those you say that may be involved in destroying the trees? What's the approach? Because you said it could be stuck on your clothes and you don't know.
Yes. So the protocol for destruction is as follows: the tree is cut, it's bucked, it's piled, and then it's sprayed with an insecticide after they're done in an area because you don't want human exposure to the insecticide.
Explain the word bucked.
So it's cut into smaller pieces.
Okay.
It's packed into piles. It's sprayed with an insecticide, and then it's burnt.
Mhm.
And as for the personnel involved in destruction, at the end of the day, every day, their tools as well as they is sprayed down with 70% ethanol, so to ensure that none of the vector remains on them. The disease itself cannot be transmitted on tools, etc. It's a live plant that can transmit it or the vector.
Okay. Let's take a few phone calls. I know you're trying to call. So let's take this call. Are you the caller? Sorry.
Yes, man.
Yes,
Good
sir.
afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
I'm just calling. I have one question for the young lady, man. After they take down the trees, what are they going to do with them? Are they going to burn them to get rid of that disease? Because I did not hear that when they were there last week. I don't know if you mentioned that while I was calling you. Because I'm thinking that you tear down that tree, you take the trees down and leave them sitting around. That disease will spread. That's my opinion. I might be wrong, but I'm listening. Thank you.
You're right. That's what I just mentioned. So after cutting and piling and spraying with an insecticide, what is to be happen is either it will be burnt or buried.
Mhm. So immediately,
Because if it's, especially if it's not sprayed with the insecticide and just left out on the open, he is right. For some time, the material can still serve as a source for the vectors to come and feed and disperse the disease.
on the telephone, yes.
I wanted to ask two questions. Two questions. It is yes. And this coconut, if they are picked on the tree and to sell, is it some bad for and the other one is that people go to people place and they see coconuts, seeds, and they pick all and they go down, come to the town to sell it. And they maybe by chance, according to they don't know, it might be transferred because I do not know down by me there's a coconut tree was doing very, very well. And all of a sudden I see the coconut and they falling small, falling down, and in it have a little hole and so on there. Otherwise there's a coconut cookie, and that it is not positioned coconut as such as it is. So these are the two questions I asked.
All right. Thank you. Yes.
So as was said, the red zone from palm tree to Hodges has been declared a quarantine area. So no movement of material out of there. Because as she said, even moving the nuts, and many times persons move the nuts with the brackets, and then the problem is that a vector could hitchhike. So it's not even really the movement of the nuts,
as
but
we
it's the
speak,
vector hitchhiking.
as we speak, there are some people who will smuggle it out.
Hopefully persons are...
Let's hope for the best. But there's some people, because
I'm
the
telling
money,
you that disease can destroy the entire coconut industry. I would think that persons is basically be shooting yourself in the foot, because if you spread the disease, eventually you won't be able to get any coconuts to sell. Yeah. So I hope persons are cognizant of that and their conscience will not allow them to smuggle any coconuts out of that area. that's the reason why we're doing all this public awareness. I'm on the radio now twice to discuss that disease, is because we are trying to urge the public. This is a serious
And
issue.
if you know someone that may be smuggling that,
Inform us, because we are meeting with all vendors, exporters, we are meeting with farmers, we are meeting with everyone. We're here on the radio, etc. We have in the press conference, etc. Is to urge persons, help us, because we cannot do it alone. Please do not move any planting material, grass, soil, any debris and so from these infected areas, because we're trying to contain and eradicate it where it is.
All right. 449-3095-96 and 97. Hello, talk to me, yes?
Not the afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, sir.
Yes, not. I only support the view that we have to see the industry. Right? I know I'm one who actually worked in the banana industry. And we had this problem of police work, blacks that occur. In fact, we planned it before because we heard it was somewhere in the islands. And there was a plan that was done. And we did make arrangements to get all type of fungicides and all type of business to make arrangements to it. It appears that we are very late now, perhaps to go years somewhere. But the outside road, you said 1800, and that came out to a low island and so on and done because the last who got it. But however, it's a very good thing you all are doing and so on. To save the agency, to save to save the coconut industry. But the lady said, but you can't work with grass, you can't cut more than load more, nothing like that. And then she said that we have to. There are mostly the majority of coconuts sometimes you have bananas and plantains grow up in them. All you're going to survive if you have it, you can't go in it and you can't go through the process. That's number one. And number two, what this frozen thing is talking about just burning it and so on. People have hundreds of coconut in the tree. Are you going to in all areas cut it down and have these areas and burn it down and so on? Or are you allowed a diffuser unit and you take it away a truck or so and go in some area and do it? Because I don't understand how you're going to cut coconuts on my farm. When you cut it down, put it down in the corner and you sting all around, and so many coconuts, they have 20 feet apart or 10 feet apart there, and you cut it down, and I cannot go into it to cut my bananas or my plantains.
I think you missed it though, because she said they'll cut the coconut in pieces and bury it. That's what you said, right?
So let me explain again. First, I missed a question from the last caller. She was asking about whether you could consume the nuts on certain trees. If the nuts reach the maturity and the tree is still healthy, you can drink the coconut. It won't have any effect on you. No, in terms of the other caller and the process.
But if the coconut tree you cut it late and it's infected, you say it
remember
has no
the first symptom is not fall, so you may not even get a coconut to drink. That's what happens. But if the tree is still not, for example, the 7-month latent period where it may still be looking healthy and still producing nuts, you can drink the coconut. There's no harm to you as a human. In terms of the so we are not restricting farmers from going into their fields within the wood fertile area. What we're asking is you do not move the disease out of the red zone or the wood fertile area. So persons can still go harvest their produce, etc. But be vigilant not to move material out of the red zone, and be cognizant that the leafhopper might hitchhike on something. So take measures. Spray yourself down with ethanol. Wash your produce. Take measures so that you do not transmit the vector out. For example, this last Palm Sunday, the message we were bringing to persons is maybe use a branch of some other tree than the palm.
Somebody just asked me a question. What were the palms for last Sunday?
Yeah, we had that message out, and I think we reached out to all the parish priests, etc. Because obviously, again, the vector might be able to hitchhike. So, as was mentioned, how it is being done, we have trained the persons from forestry. If a tree may be too tall and you can see that when it's felled, it may fall and produce, they will climb the tree and cut it down from top down. The tree is bucked. Then this is piled in an area. sprayed with an insecticide, and then burnt. So it is being done in a, not any vai way. There's a plan.
Okay. More telephone calls coming in here. 449-3095-9697. Are you there, caller?
Yes, Matt, I am. Good afternoon to you, Matt, and to the young lady.
Mrs. Ferraro,
Matt,
yes.
I'm hearing the young lady telling people what to do and what not to do, and then you ask a question about if they catch people, taking whatever from that area.
Smuggling,
Matt,
yes.
you know what I see? I see that thing spreading around the country because in the Ministry of Agriculture, my thing would be to have a meeting with all farmers and take down every tree from by the airport, go back to Wesley Woodford. All coconut trees, and you kill at one time. And when you talk about burying it, I still think, and I'm not agricultural trained, I think if you bury anything, you're still going to have problems. So from the side of the airport, Melville, going towards Portsmouth to Wesley Woodford, I cut in everything, and you must get rid of that problem. Good afternoon.
All right, this guy, yeah,
This is what we're doing. He's right. We have basically the
but
airport, the new airport.
You say from Woodford,
from palm tree
down.
Hodges. So we are cutting the trees back. All that is going. So basically, that's what we're doing. And hopefully, the new airport right now is serving as a buffer between palm tree and Wesley.
Oh. Hello on the telephone. Are you there? 449-3095, 449-3096, 449-3097. Again, if you have to call, these are the numbers to call. Ask the questions you need to ask about this dreaded disease affecting the coconut trees, okay? 449-3095, 449-3096, 449-3097. Let's see.
So the main message today is help us protect the coconut industry. Do not move planting material out of that red zone from palm tree to Hodges. Do not move any coconut planting material. Do not move any soil, any grass, any palm pots or debris out of that area. And be cognizant of the fact that the disease is there. If you're moving any other type of plant, even your vehicle, yourself, be vigilant. Help us to stop the spread of that disease.
Now, have you seen it and noticed it anywhere around the island?
No. So a part of our program is surveillance, which is going to be happening in what we call the red zone, the area around the orange zone, that is, the area around the red zone, and island-wide. So the extension officers are on the lookout for any symptomatic trees. We are also going to be setting up traps within the area to determine what the population of the vector is like. So it's like a sticky trap to help us determine if the vector is in the area, so you can have timely management of it. And so we are continuing surveillance. For example, the last time samples were sent out, there were some trees that I wanted to know what was the issue with them in other parts of the island. So I collected samples from them and sent out, and they came back negative for the disease. So far, anybody who calls to indicate that they may be worried that a tree may be infected, we investigate, and testing will be happening as time goes along.
Somebody on the telephone, are you there?
Yes, I'm there, Matt. A program with that magnitude, I want to remain mute. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Ferrell.
Yes, Mr.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes. Based on how you saying that the disease can be transferred, would you, apart from the buffer zone that you mentioned, palm tree to Hodges, I'm wondering if you have the opinion that disease might be way ahead from that zone. I'm just asking whether most probably if you could be of that opinion. Now, my follow-up question with you is that as a farmer from that area, and then I not always there to certain circumstances beyond my control. And I heard you mention about the 7 days notice before you enter the farmer's farm. In trying to reach me within that 7 days, and I am not there, which I always want to be there when those trees are being cut down on my farm, my personal farm. Would I be given some time to maybe get back on island before, or let me assume that the measure is so drastic that all you just have to go cutting down the trees. We probably cannot reach the farmer. I want to put that question to you and get a reasonable answer. But I'm of the opinion, knowing that disease, and I have worked in some area of that disease when coming to that area as well. My voice is well known. But I am convinced, even as we speak, you see that buffer zone, that thing could be all the way down Portsmouth. That thing could be all the way out of Bells, and we still taking it to mean as you said that there is no control. It's not going to be short. So this thing is very, very frightening, and I am asking that the Ministry of Agriculture, they really tread that ground with caution and the best advice they can get. Because even as we speak, I am of the opinion already, like I said earlier on, that this disease is way beyond that buffer zone already. And are you of the opinion? I was asking. Thank you.
All right. So he's saying he believes it's further than the buffer zone that you're talking about.
Well, I pray that he is not correct and we are continuing surveillance, as I told you, that if any symptomatic trees pop up, at once they will be destroyed. And also we collect trunk samples and do PCR diagnosis to even on trees that are not yet symptomatic. So we've not seen any signs of the disease out of that zone, and we are praying
But can we
that
do our
left.
own test in Dominica just yet?
Yeah, the molecular capacity is being built. Matter of fact, even since the early 2000s, I personally and staff, we would collect samples from coconuts periodically and do tests because we were always on the lookout for the disease. So right now,
What's your training background?
Well, I studied agriculture in college, but as a staff of the ministry for over 12 years, I got a lot of training, on the job training.
Okay.
So that was actually my area, coconuts. So we've been doing our testing, and we're just building back the laboratory capacity to start again soon.
All right. More telephone calls on the radio. Yes, talk to me.
Mark, I'm not a farmer, but common sense. I'm thinking like a layman now. Mark, I know, and the young lady and the agricultural department is gonna find a lot of resistance because I'm listening to the conversation and listening to some people. I want to highlight the one who just called a while ago. The man say he's a farmer, and if he's not there within the 7 days time span, but with diseases like that and that kind of stuff, I could understand people's rights and their property have certain precedents. But when you have certain things like that, Matt, sometimes the government have to take a radical move to eliminate these things, because the longer you wait and you go through all this waiting process and things, because somebody could say they come in within 7 days and they can't make it for another 2 weeks. And these things, and while you sit there waiting, the disease is spreading. And she answered my question a while ago. Yes, intended could either bury that stuff or burn it. And, I don't know. Sometimes you bury things. I don't know what the outcome on that through experience. But, burning usually is the best way to eliminate. But she did mention that they would treat it with a chemical and then bury it. So hopefully it's a proven, procedure. But I'm thinking they're going to find themselves with a lot of resistance. And I think the government should make an island-wide meeting with farmers and have serious public pronouncement about this thing. Get with people early. Get with people constantly. Talk to them about it, because the resistance will be there. And if you could communicate with people sooner, faster, and very, very important that you meet them and you talk to them about the pending disaster, because For one person might have 200 coconut tree on their land, and they're resisting and fighting back, would cause the whole island to lose every coconut tree that's on the island. Matt, I'm listening.
All right, thank you very much.
Yes,
He was making a point earlier. If he's not around, and you give him notice and he's not been back, would you just take on your own and destroy?
So yes, the law gives us the authority to destroy the trees. The Act 10 of 1986 gives Plant Protection the authority to go in and destroy the trees. In terms of the notices, we issue the notices, and we're also going to be calling the farmers. We would like them to be there during destruction in case of any other crop being damaged. But in terms of if the person is not there,
Not
this
available.
I have to review to see what is the decision that's gonna be. But most likely, yes, we still have to go in because as the caller said, and he's right, we cannot afford to be waiting for persons who are not there and allow that disease to remain and spread.
Since you guys started, can you estimate as to how many coconut trees you have destroyed?
Over 2,500.
2,500.
Yes, we've destroyed over 2,500 trees. And the team is out every day of the week. There are over 4 teams comprising of over 6 men per team. Includes forestry, as I mentioned. They do
You said 2,500.
over 2,500 trees. Yeah.
Wow.
So we are working hard to ensure that we eradicate that disease because we know the effect it can have on the economy. We know the effect it can have on the coconut industry. So we're not taking it as any light matter.
That's a serious thing. 2005 so far. Hello, talk to me, yes?
Yes, my good afternoon, and my good afternoon to your guest.
Yes,
But I have a concern though. The vector, she spoke about the vector, not of you. But do they have any biological control for the vector? She spoke about some chemical control, but I mean, it's so important that if you have to deal with that vector to try and get control of the disease, and if there's any I just want to know if there's any biological control that they can use about controlling the vector. Thank you.
A question to you?
Unfortunately, nothing that will help us eradicate the disease. So there can be different things like spiders and so forth can attack the vector, but nothing that can help us manage it or eradicate it. What we need is eradication. So that approach won't work for what we want. And the burning, the scholar was right about the burning. That is our first course of action, is to burn. But what the burial is just to prevent the vector from being able to access the material. Because remember, it's a phytoplasma and it needs a living host to survive. So after the tree is destroyed, once after some time has passed, it's not like it will remain as a source of inoculum. But it's for the time period that the vector can still take the disease from it that we trying to prevent that by either burning or burial.
More telephone calls, and we don't have so much more time. Just about 11 more minutes. Hello, talk to me,
Very
yes?
interesting program. Let me commend Ms. Shira
Yes.
on her efforts. As you can see, hearing from her, she's quite knowledgeable, quite experienced, well trained to deal with that situation. She have had that experience before when we had to deal with the challenges of infectious virus. At that time, I was acting head of quarantine, and I know the challenge that it takes to deal with that. My concern is the support she's getting from the wider public and the cooperation from the police, because as you may appreciate, she's saying that you have to control all material moving out of that place. And it would take a wider collaboration to ensure that those disease material, contaminated material is not being moved from that place. Also, the support from the government in compensating these farmers, because this is some of the issues that we were getting when we had to deal with Caesar virus. We had to deal with challenges where people wanted to set dog on my staff, preventing them from doing their job. And I know what it takes to deal with that. So I'm asking whether she's getting a level of collaboration from both the police, the cooperation from the police, and also from the government in terms of compensation for the farmers, because
you're saying that in your days they used to attack dogs?
Yeah. They were preventing the officers and them from doing their job, because while they are protected by law, the law gives them the authority to eradicate those trees. But human beings,
human being. They went as far as, threatening them with their dogs and whatever. I had to call in the police. The police had to either tell them if it continues, they're going to put the dog to sleep. And these are some of the challenges. She knows she was a member of staff at that time when I was still with the ministry. So I know the challenges, I know the hiccup, and I just pray that she has the support staff structure, both on the ground and in the office, that will help to ensure that the effort on her would run smoothly. I know it is a challenge, but I'm not doubting her capability. She's very dedicated, very committed. She has the passion for the job that she's doing. You can hear the way she speaks. She's on top of her game. She knows what that is all about, and she will give her best shot. I just want to commend her and give her all the support that I can, to ensure that, that process runs smoothly.
All right, thank you for the commendation there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Yes, we have the support. We have the support of the police, so we've written to them. They've written back, and we have the support of the police.
Have you had a challenge like you was talking about the dogs?
Not yet.
Not yet.
And actually, the feedback just as now persons are calling and understanding the importance. We've had multiple meetings with residents of Woodford Hill and the surrounding areas. The feedback for the most part was positive. They have the concern of compensation, and we've reassured them that it is being taken into consideration. But they understand the need for the destruction of the trees and for them not to be spread. So hopefully going forward there won't be any resistance. But so far we've really started on government lands to ensure time for the distribution of the notices and the time they need before we start destroying. But as of Tuesday, which is tomorrow, we'll be starting on private property, and they have already given the go ahead to start. So hopefully that's how it continues.
On the telephone, hello, talk to me. Yes, not too much more time.
Yeah. Good afternoon, Matt. Good afternoon to the young lady.
Yeah.
I have two quick questions. One, isn't that problem something that was created by the department and their mistakes in the replanting of coconut varieties?
That question was asked before. It's basically is it your fault if you want?
Yes, and I answered that there is no proof of that, because the trees that were brought in, the Brazilian nuts, they were tested. Plants were sent out to the University of Florida to test to see whether they could have been the means by which it came, and they came back negative for it.
Any other question?
Okay, and my second question here is Gramazone. Why are we still using Gramazone in Dominica, bro?
She's a sister. She's not a brother now.
And again, I don't think that's a question for me, as in whether
in terms of policy,
use, etc. Because I think that one of these were removed. I think it was Gramazone. I can't answer that question. I don't think it was still supposed to be used.
Okay, but somebody else within the Ministry of Agriculture might be able to tell.
And maybe somebody like the produce chemist. What is it? Pesticide board. Somebody from the pesticide board.
All right. So thank you. This one is beyond her pay grade. This one, talk to me. Yes.
Good afternoon, man.
Good afternoon to you.
I've been unable to be listening continuously, but I'd like the name of the disease and also new plants being brought in. So after these are destroyed, that the farmers will get new plants.
Okay, two questions quickly.
The name of the disease is lethal yellowing disease. The scientific name is Candidatus phytoplasma palmae. If you'd like that spelled out, I could do that. But if you just look for lethal yellowing disease, you'll find it. And then also the name of the vector of that disease. It's a leafhopper called Haplaxius crudus. HAPLAXIUS CRUDUS.
All right, our final. We have about 5 more minutes. Are you there, caller? Yes.
Yes, I am there.
Yes.
A couple questions. Do we know the origin of that disease?
You want to answer the question? I think we did.
I mentioned that it's actually widely distributed throughout the region, in Cayman Islands, in Antigua, in Jamaica, in Trinidad. It's widely distributed already. We are one of the last islands to get it, in Guadeloupe, in Marriott Islands. So we are not certain exactly from which neighboring island it may have come in. But what we can say is that we urge the public, as the caller said before, coconuts, first of all, is prohibited from entry. So a normal person cannot import coconuts. So do not smuggle it in. It could have been a means by which it came to the smuggling of the palm. Be mindful of when you bring in material that there is no hitchhiker from like the neighboring islands. We are quarantine officers on the ports, every port, that checks persons' baggages and so, but still you find persons who try to smuggle things in. Just because I like to see a small plant, we don't take into consideration the impact it could have.
Some coming from containers.
So we need to be mindful when we do things and the impact it can have on the country and our economy. Because right now, as another caller said, it's going to take the government a lot of money to manage that disease. But we will try our best to contain and eradicate it within the zone that it's in now.
Let's go. Are you the caller? Yes.
Yes, I'm there, Matt. So when they cut down the farmers' coconut trees, are they paying them or just?
Yes, they're paying them, and they've already started that program. They're paying them.
Yeah, being
okay, that's good. Because I was wondering, I know we brought in a lot of equipment over the years without any inspection, and we had all kind of plants growing, and that is the reason why sometimes when people take certain stand, some people oppose on a political basis. But past governments, they manage better than what I'm seeing here in terms of importation of vehicles or used vehicles or equipment. So that is the consequences that sometimes we're going to face. And sometimes we're basing it on smugglers. When the government and its people brought in vehicles not inspected, full of dirt, that is the consequence we'll face.
All right, caller, we have to wrap up. Before I take another call, I think that question is beyond your pay grade. 301. Hello, talk to me. Yes. Are you there?
Yes. I want to know what manpower they have. Do they have enough manpower to contain that disease and to help in contain that disease? And what are the other countries doing to contain that disease? It's in other countries. So what are they doing? Are they following some procedures the other islands are using?
Yes, exactly. So there's an operational plan, and the operational plan is based on what has happened in other countries. So other countries, what they do is destroy, for example, Jamaica, infected trees, and there has been replanting going as it went along, and vector management. So basically that's what we are doing, eradicating trees within the infected area, vector management, and we are looking at the use of tolerant varieties.
Our final call. The telephones won't stop. Hello, final call.
Yes, Matu. The interesting word there of compensation. Let me ask her, after the coconut trees have been cut, how long, I don't know if you have an idea as to how long it will take for them to compensate the farmer, whether it's a few months or a year or whatever. Because as much as we're willing to cooperate, and if it is part of our livelihood, we want to know how long we're going. Already we're working with them by saying, okay, you can just come and cut. The law gives you right to come and cut. But we still want to hear how soon from cutting. I just want to know how soon from cutting that compensation will be needed. Thank you.
All right. Very interesting question. I think I asked that before. Maybe you missed it.
That's a good question, but I do not have the answer. But what I can say is what the minister said, that a compensation plan is being developed, and we are also looking at the distribution of tolerant varieties. That's what I can say.
All right. Your final words before we go?
Thank you for having me. It was nice being back with you. And my final advice, again, I'm going to reiterate, help us. Less traffic within the red zone is better. So even during the Easter, maybe find a beach in Portsmouth rather than Woodford Hill. Do not move any planting material out of the area. Do not move soil. Do not move grass. Do not move plant debris out of that area because you could be harboring the vector or the disease. So please be vigilant. Work with us whilst we try together to protect the coconut industry. Yeah?
Thank you,
Thank
Mrs.
you.
Ferraro. Did a great job as usual.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
me.
Bye bye. Bye bye. All right, Dominic, this is how we wrap it up here for the day. Huh? Very interesting. Educational program from the Ministry of Agriculture. I'm hoping someday the minister himself, he's been made many promises to be here with us. We have a lot of other questions. So, Mr. Minister, please make yourself available for the questions from the farmers.
My great grandmother, Mistress Robin, teach me proverbs and put me in trouble. I wouldn't lie. My great grandmother, Madam Robin, teach me proverbs and get me in trouble. She say, how you make your bed so you lie, and you never miss the water till well run dry. The proverb that read struck me, my friend, is when she told me that the